As September rolls in, the fans of the bold and the beautiful are in for a whirlwind of emotions. The much-anticipated return of Thomas Forrester promises not only the return of an old favorite, but also the start of a new, dramatic chapter that will shake up the Forrester family and the entire town. Thomas's reappearance is sure to stir the pot in the already tumultuous world of the bold and the beautiful, where relationships are constantly tested and the stakes couldn't be higher. However, what fans don't expect is the shocking revelation of a tragic event that will leave everyone in mourning. And who will be the one at the center of this heartbreaking twist? None other than Taylor Hayes. As the new season of The Bold and the Beautiful begins, rumors swirl about the upcoming events in the lives of the central characters. Among them, one major prediction is that Thomas's return will coincide with an unexpected and tragic event. A funeral that will take the town by surprise. As the rumors spread, the face in the leaked image circulating the internet points to none other than Taylor, and what starts as speculation quickly becomes a grim reality. Taylor's life is about to take a tragic turn, and the Forrester family is about to be plunged into a crisis none of them could have anticipated. For much of the recent season, Taylor has been plagued by increasing headaches and a growing sense of unease. At first, she dismissed these symptoms as mere stress, thinking that her deep worry over her complicated relationship with Ridge was the cause. Taylor's anxiety has always been linked to her concerns about her love for Ridge, especially as it pertains to his undeniable bond with Brooke Logan. The ongoing tension between Ridge and Brooke has left Taylor feeling insecure, and her fear of losing Ridge, particularly after he risked his life to save Brooke in a harrowing ordeal, has only heightened her sense of distress. But as the story unfolds, it becomes apparent that Taylor's fear of losing Ridge is only the tip of the iceberg. Her constant headaches, which she had assumed were the result of emotional stress, are much more serious than she realized. In a shocking twist, it is revealed that Taylor has been secretly battling a brain tumor, a diagnosis that comes as a complete shock to her and to everyone who cares about her. The tumor is aggressive and the prognosis is grim. Taylor's time is running out, and the family she has tried so hard to hold together is about to be torn apart by the devastating news. Steffie Forrester, Taylor's daughter, is the first to realize that something is seriously wrong. As she arrives at her mother's house one afternoon, Steffie is horrified to find her mother collapsed on the floor, unconscious and unresponsive. Panic sets in as Steffie immediately calls for an ambulance, praying that her mother will be okay. Steffie is left standing outside, racked with worry and fear, unable to do anything as the paramedics rush to stabilize Taylor. The uncertainty and the growing realization that her mother is gravely ill set in, and Steffie's world is thrown into chaos. When Dr. Finn Finnegan, Steffie's husband, arrives at the scene, he is immediately struck by the severity of the situation. As a medical professional, Finn is able to assess the gravity of Taylor's condition quickly, and the news he delivers to Steffie is nothing short of devastating. The doctors have confirmed that Taylor has an inoperable brain tumor, and there is little they can do to save her. The prognosis is terminal, and Taylor has only a short time left to live. This bombshell sends Steffie spiraling into a sea of sorrow, and she finds herself clinging to Finn for support as the weight of the news crushes her. Steffie's heartbreak is palpable as she tries to come to terms with the fact that her mother, the woman who has been a guiding force in her life, is slipping away. She is consumed by guilt and grief, feeling as though she didn't do enough to notice the signs or help her mother sooner. The emotional toll on Steffie is unbearable as she tries to navigate the complicated feelings of losing her mother while also caring for her family. Finn stands by her side, offering comfort, but there is little that can ease the pain she feels. Meanwhile, Ridge is blindsided by the tragic news of Taylor's condition. When he receives the call about her sudden collapse, he rushes to the hospital, frantic and filled with dread. As he arrives at the hospital, he is greeted by a somber Steffie, who explains the devastating news. Ridge, who has always cared deeply for Taylor, is shaken to his core. He had never imagined that the woman he once loved and shared a family with could be facing such a dire fate. Despite his complicated feelings toward Taylor, especially in light of his deep connection with Brooke, Ridge is devastated by the news of her illness. He immediately makes his way to Taylor's hospital room, determined to be there for her in what may be her final moments. In the hospital room, Ridge is faced with the harsh reality of Taylor's situation. The woman he once shared a life with is now fighting for her life, and the feeling of helplessness is overwhelming. As he stands by her side, Taylor, weak and frail from the effects of her illness, struggles to speak but manages to express her gratitude for the love and support she has received from her family. In a heartbreaking moment, Ridge whispers words of comfort, knowing that this may be the last time he is able to speak to her. Taylor, holding on to her faith and strength, clings to the hope that her family will be okay after she's gone, but the weight of her situation is undeniable. In these final moments, Ridge finds himself grappling with his emotions. Though his heart has been torn between his love for Brooke and his past with Taylor, there is no denying the deep connection and history he shares with Taylor. As Ridge says his final goodbyes to Taylor, the raw emotion of the moment is palpable. Ridge, who has spent so much of his life trying to navigate the complicated web of his relationships, is now faced with the ultimate test. The imminent loss of the woman who once meant everything to him. As the story unfolds, the impact of Taylor's tragic illness is felt by all who love her. Steffie is devastated, and Finn struggles to balance his professional role with his personal pain. Ridge is left to reflect on his past with Taylor, torn between the memories of their love and the reality of the situation at hand. The Forrester family is thrust into a period of intense grief, and the community is left reeling from the news that one of their own is slipping away. As Thomas returns to town, he finds himself faced with a different kind of challenge. No longer just dealing with the complexities of his own family dynamics, Thomas must now contend with the loss of someone who was once an integral part of his life. The funeral that follows Taylor's passing will be a somber occasion, one that brings the entire Forrester family together in mourning and reflection. It is a moment of reckoning for everyone involved, as they grapple with the fragility of life and the impact that Taylor's death will have on their futures. The tragic events surrounding Taylor's illness and passing will leave an indelible mark on the Forrester family, and it is clear that the repercussions of her death will be felt for a long time to come. As Thomas's return adds a new layer of drama to the already complex family dynamics, it becomes evident that nothing will ever be the same again. The Bold and the Beautiful is about to embark on a new chapter, one filled with heartbreak, healing, and the uncertain future of the Forrester family. And as always, nothing is ever simple in the world of the Bold and the Beautiful, where love, loss, and betrayal are always just around the corner. Thomas Forrester's return to the Bold and the Beautiful is set to stir the very fabric of the Forrester family and take viewers on an emotional journey filled with shock, grief, and complex decisions. His return, marked by the devastating news of his mother Taylor Hayes passing, is sure to shake up the family dynamic and leave everyone wondering what Thomas's true motives are. Is he merely returning to mourn the loss of his mother, or does his return signal something deeper, a desire to reclaim his place within the Forrester family business and confront the unresolved tensions that have long plagued him? The passing of Taylor Hayes comes as a devastating blow not only to her family, but also to the entire town of Los Angeles. Known for her incredible strength and emotional depth, Taylor was a pillar of the Forrester family and a beloved figure in the community. Her death marks the end of an era and leaves her children, Steffie, Thomas, and the rest of the Forrester family, grappling with an enormous void. The emotional weight of this loss is felt throughout the entire Forrester clan, and Thomas's return marks the beginning of a difficult and uncertain chapter for everyone involved. The announcement of Taylor's death is a devastating one, sending shockwaves through the Forrester family. As the details of Taylor's passing become known, it's revealed that she had been secretly battling a terminal illness, one that had taken a sudden and unforgiving turn. Her brain tumor, which had been growing undetected for months, finally claimed her life, leaving her family reeling from the tragic news. Taylor's decline was swift, and though her family was by her side in her final moments, the pain of losing her is immeasurable. The impact of her death is especially hard on her children, Steffie and Thomas, who have always looked to Taylor for guidance, love, and support. For Thomas, the news of his mother's death is both heartbreaking and complicated. Thomas's relationship with Taylor had been fraught with tension, particularly due to his strained relationships with various members of the Forrester family. His return to Los Angeles is prompted by the need to pay his respects and grieve the mother he loved, but the question looms large: does he intend to stay in town permanently? For some time, Thomas has been absent from the Forrester fold, making his motivations unclear. Is he returning to find peace and closure following his mother's death, or does he have another agenda in mind? The answer to this question lies in the complex nature of Thomas's character and the unresolved issues that have plagued him for years. Thomas has always been driven by his desire to prove himself, both as a Forrester and as an individual. Over the years, he has faced numerous struggles, including his complicated relationships with his father, Ridge, and his siblings, Steffie and Hope. His return, therefore, could signal a desire to reassert himself in the Forrester family and take a more active role in the family business. His personal ambitions have often clashed with the family dynamics, and his return to town following Taylor's death may be his way of asserting his place within the family structure once again. At the heart of Thomas's return is the looming question of whether he truly wants to reconcile with his family or if he is seeking to capitalize on the upheaval caused by Taylor's death. For some time, Thomas has been seen as the black sheep of the family, with his actions often pushing him further away from the people he loves. His return to Los Angeles, however, could represent a moment of redemption, a chance for him to mend broken relationships and find a new sense of purpose within the Forrester business. But as we know in The Bold and the Beautiful, nothing is ever that simple. There are always hidden motives, secrets, and desires beneath the surface. What complicates matters even further is the fact that the actress who played Taylor Hayes, Rebecca, has officially announced that she is leaving The Bold and the Beautiful to take on a new role in a different show. This departure adds an extra layer of emotional weight to the storyline, as Taylor's death is not only a narrative loss, but also a real-life departure that fans will feel deeply. Rebecca's portrayal of Taylor has been a cornerstone of the series, and her departure signals a turning point for the show. This raises the question of how the Forrester family will cope without their matriarch and what the future holds for them in the wake of this loss. As Thomas steps back into the fold, it's clear that his motivations will be central to the unfolding drama. While his return may initially seem like an opportunity for mourning and reflection, it's highly probable that he has other plans in mind. Thomas has always had a complex relationship with the Forrester family business, particularly with his father Ridge, who has often favored his other children, Steffie and Hope, over him. With Taylor gone, Thomas may see an opportunity to carve out his own place within the family legacy. Could this be his moment to step up and take on a more significant role in the Forrester business, especially now that his mother is no longer there to keep the peace? The aftermath of Taylor's death will undoubtedly affect everyone in the Forrester family. Ridge, in particular, is left to pick up the pieces as he grapples with the loss of his former wife and the mother of his children. His emotional journey will be fraught with grief, guilt, and the painful recognition that his past with Taylor is over. While Ridge has always maintained a complex relationship with both Taylor and Brooke, Her death will force him to reflect on the choices he has made and the relationships he has neglected. In the wake of Taylor's passing, Ridge may find himself pulled in different directions, struggling to reconcile his past with the realities of his present. For Steffie, the loss of her mother is deeply personal. Taylor was not only her mother, but also her closest confidant, and Steffie will have to navigate the overwhelming grief of losing the woman who shaped her life. Steffie's emotional journey will be marked by sorrow, but it will also be a moment of growth. As the Forrester family faces this tragedy, Steffie will find herself assuming a more prominent role in the family, supporting her father Ridge and helping to carry on her mother's legacy. However, the weight of this responsibility may also lead to conflict, especially as the future of the family business becomes uncertain in the wake of Taylor's passing. As Thomas attempts to reinsert himself into the Forrester fold, the question of his true intentions looms large. While he may appear to be returning solely to mourn his mother, his actions will speak louder than his words. His reappearance will undoubtedly cause ripples within the family, especially as tensions between him, Ridge, Steffie, and Hope continue to simmer. Thomas's return could be the catalyst for a new chapter in the Forrester family drama, one that will test the strength of familial bonds and force each member to confront their own past. The question of whether Thomas's return is purely for the sake of mourning Taylor's death or if he intends to make a more permanent return to the family business is one that will unfold in the coming weeks. Regardless of his intentions, his return marks a turning point for the Forrester family. Taylor's death has already set the stage for a major shift in the family dynamics, and Thomas's involvement will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping the future of the Forrester legacy. As the family comes together to honor Taylor's memory, they must also confront the reality of a future without her, one that will undoubtedly be shaped by the choices they make in the wake of her passing. In conclusion, Thomas's return to the bold and the beautiful following Taylor's tragic death marks a pivotal moment in the lives of the Forrester family. While he initially arrives to mourn his mother's loss, his return raises important questions about his true motivations and his desire to reassert himself within the family. With Taylor's departure from the show, the Forrester family must navigate the emotional fallout of her loss while also dealing with the internal tensions and unresolved issues that have plagued them for years. As the family grapples with grief, guilt, and the uncertain future of the Forrester business, Thomas's return will undoubtedly play a major role in shaping the future of the family dynamic. The drama, as always, is just beginning, and in the bold and the beautiful, nothing is ever as simple as it seems.